Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the War Room, which is our interview series as part of the Clone Star Pod. I am your host, Sean Ferrick, and I am so excited to be welcoming the next generation of LaForge's Broadway and on-screen actor, the wonderful Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is a pleasure. I'm so excited. How are you? This is week 10. People have seen the show. 9 episodes of it anyway. How are you?
I'm on top of the world. I can't lie. I think the fan response has been more than I could have imagined. I feel like I knew fans would, like some fans at least would embrace me, but the vast majority of them, I just feel like I have like a big hug from like the fans. It's been so lovely.
It's been fantastic. I'm just from the first scene we get Sydney in. She was, I think, just one of the beacons of positivity in a series that it's been this strange, like this really strange but nice mix of, sure, season 3 has gone dark, but there's been a lot of laughter and there's been a lot of upbeat moments, and you've been part of a lot of them.
Yeah.
How does it feel having played a drone, a changeling, and a human all in one series?
And a Borg? It's been nuts. It's been nuts. I was talking to another person, and they were like, I don't think a character has had this many, transitions in one season. But it's been a ride. I mean, even behind the scenes, just being able to like transform with like special effects, makeup, and stuff. I mean, even with like the character arcs, it's been a ride. It's been a fun journey. Yeah.
That is, I'd say, like, there's so many of us, we watch Star Trek, we love it, and then we kind of think sometimes that it exists in a vacuum, and there's no hours in the makeup chair, and there's, like turning into a Borg takes 2 seconds, as I'm sure it was the case. Yeah. Do you have any kind of like, because I know filming itself wrapped, about a year ago now, I think. So how long have you had to both sit on the story and, your excitement of sharing it with everyone? And what have you enjoyed most of people getting to see?
Yeah. So like you said, we initially started shooting in 2021, and then to like you said, wrap last year. And then now a year later, like people are finally able to see what we've been working on. It's been, I keep saying surreal. I'm trying to look for a bigger word, but like, it's surreal because my mom, I've talked about my mom in interviews prior, but like she's a huge Star Trek fan. So seeing her watch me now on this television show, and like she's texting me like, hey, can you tell me what happens next week? And I'm like, no, Mom, you're going to have to watch like everybody else. So I think moments like that have been really fulfilling for me. And it feels like some moments have come full circle in a way, if that makes sense.
Sure. Like, I mean, obviously what everyone was talking about from the moment your character was announced, they were like, oh my God, we're getting LaForge's, and then of course, Alandra is announced as well. We see that Mika Burton is joining the cast. Was there any kind of intimidation knowing that you're going to be working with both LeVar and Mika and playing a family member beside them both?
I know. So at first I didn't know. Like I just thought Mika was just another actor. Like I didn't know her last name was Burton. So I just was like, oh, because I just was introduced to her like just by first name basis only. And then Jonathan Frakes told me, no. Her last name's Burton. This is LeVar Burton's actual daughter. I think that's when the moment hit. I was like, oh my God, like this is it's crazy because it's like, you guys are already family. I'm coming in here too, but the way they've welcomed me, I mean, it's been like a family. I think feeling wise, it feels like a family. Yeah,
it is. And watching that on screen, it felt so natural. So the performances across the board have felt very organic. And I'm sure everything was done in one take, and there was never any retakes needed, as is always the case in Star Trek and cinema in general, right?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, of course. Of course.
You've probably already been asked this a lot. What was the biggest challenge?
Yeah, I think you've kind of hit on it a little bit. I think stepping into these big shoes, knowing these people already had an established family and kind of, I don't want to say, being an outsider, but I mean, you're kind of are, you're stepping into this new world with these people who already have like established connections. I think that was not a huge challenge, but I think it's with anything, it's a new challenge. And I think there were moments too, acting wise, like I've talked about, like, this is my first time with heavy stunt work. So I feel like stretching my muscles in like the acting world, that was a challenge too. But overall, I mean, I've embraced the challenges. Yeah.
Excellent. There was a moment I vividly remember it from the original trailer it appeared in, and then in the episode when that changeling slams you against that force field. We were just like, I think there's a video of me online going, "Don't you dare kill Geordie's daughter! Don't you dare!" Did you have any worries that you're just like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting 6 episodes instead of 10 then," you know?
No, well, see, that's the thing. So I initially, at least what was told to me in the beginning, I thought I was only going to be in like 2 to 3 episodes. And so when they kept adding me on each episode, I was like, oh, so maybe, I mean, there was a rumor that I probably would get killed off. But I obviously, up until now, like nothing, I'm still alive, but, yeah, I didn't know, that I would be in all of these episodes. No.
That is, and it's been wonderful because I think this series, it's been one of the things that gets said, it's lauded, is that we get to know the characters outside of the main TNG casts that are returning. We know Sydney by the time we get to, even a couple of episodes in, Sydney arriving at Seven's door. I think the laughter that we heard when Seven discussed, "This sounds rehearsed." It was brilliant. Was there, kind of, how was that sort of like, because you do a lot of scenes with Jerry Ryan, who is, of course, kind of did a small show in the 90s, Voyager something or other.
Yeah, very small.
Yeah, tiny. Yeah. I'm not sure if the audience would have heard of it. And so I know, obviously, you said you've been welcomed in with open arms, which is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. But I suppose this goes to how much of, or were you a Trekkie before this?
Yeah, I mean, I knew, I'll say, base knowledge, just based off of my mom. Like, I think just being introduced to the world, I knew some of the terminology. Now, was I a diehard Trekkie? Absolutely not, I'll be honest. But I did know, the basic lingo and all of that stuff. But yeah, sorry, you talked about the Jerry scene, and I'm excited for people to see we have another heavy scene coming up in the finale, that I'm really excited for fans to see. And it just made me think of that. Excellent.
It's kind of funny because this is going to air after episode 10 drops.
So I can talk about it.
So you can fully talk about it. Yes.
Oh yeah. So like when I'm getting ready to blow them up, with my phaser, I feel like, we have Jerry and I have like a really lovely emotional moment. I think what goes over Sydney is like the fact that, she's assimilated, right? So it's like, it's out of her control. And then when she realizes, oh my God, I almost killed, my friend. I think that moment kind of takes it back to when Jerry and I, or Seven and Sydney, had that initial moment. I think it kind of, again, comes full circle in a way.
I think so. I was watching that scene and I thought, I mean, it's, obviously it's bad enough. Oh my God, our crew has been assimilated, but to have the emotional punch there, it needed to be Sydney and Seven.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't feel something for the rest of the crew. Of course we do, but they've had this journey together. Mm-hmm. And I thought the way it was played, with instantly just tears rolling down the cheeks, and Seven, of all people, knowing what it feels like to have been assimilated.
Yeah. And I think, you hit the nail on the head. Yes. She knows. So, and I think when she embraces me, it's a little deeper. Like you really feel the emotion there. Yeah.
How much is Jack Crusher off the Christmas card list at this point?
I mean, anything's possible. That's what I keep saying. Anything is possible.
But I suppose that you've like some of your seeds with Ed are just they're brilliant. They're standout seeds, and particularly, of course, the one that once you know what's happening, bit of a red flag scene, but And yet it's played wonderfully. How was that, developing relationships like that on screen and off camera, of course?
Sure. I think that's a testament to Ed and I's relationship off screen. I feel like we had so many moments where we were like laughing behind the scenes. We were talking about my dating life. Like we just bonded off screen. And I think that's just being translated to what, viewers are seeing on their televisions. Yeah.
It's as I say, it's very organic, which I find highly ironic considering how not organic things become later on. But it's such an organic thing. And when we get to, all right, everyone watching, if you haven't watched episode 10 at this point, look away now.
Look away.
When we get to the crew leaving space dock, with did I see a second Pip on that collar?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Lieutenant LaForge, nicely done.
Thank you.
It was, again, it feels natural. On the one hand, we're like, Crusher, what the hell are you doing talking to people like that? You go sit in the back. You're not allowed to talk to people like that. But it feels very natural. How was that? Was this shot in sequence? Was that done quite early on in production? Was that like last day of stuff?
It definitely was later in production. I'm trying to remember if that was my actual last scene. No, I think one of the Borg scenes was my actual final day, but that was definitely one of the last scenes that we did shoot, or at least I shot. And I think it was a moment where we were like, wow, this really is like the next generation. Like this could really be something. So I had a moment too, like another goosebump moment where I was like, wow, I'm a part of this franchise. Like I'm officially a part of this franchise. I think that moment was really great. Yeah.
If then that wasn't the final scene, was it a wrench to take off the second Pip to go back to film the other scene?
No. That's why I'm thinking, like, I think we did shoot that, or I shot that last. It's just, I have to go back through my phone. I have like photos and stuff. I have to like timestamp it, but I do believe that probably was like our last scene, because I remember Michelle Hurd, when we wrapped, she gave like a speech, and it was really lovely, and kind of gave each of us like our own praise and stuff. And she thanked us. I think I want to say yes. I'm going to say yes. That was our last scene that we shot.
Okay, Grant, that's fine. You've heard it here, everyone. That's what it is. That was the last scene. Yeah, there it is. But of course, hopefully, it's not going to be the last scene of film. If anyone's been anywhere near social media for the entirety of the run of this season, you've seen the cries, you've seen the shouts. I mean, how would you come back for Star Trek Legacy if it was greenlit?
Absolutely not. I'm kidding. No, of course I would. Yeah. Of course I would. Hashtag Star Trek Legacy. I would love to come back. I mean, in a heartbeat. This has been such a monumental experience for me. I mean, yes, career-wise, but also personally, I feel a genuine connection to not only the people that I've met, but the fans and this whole franchise. Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is hardly your first role or anything like that, but Star Trek can be a behemoth. How has life changed since becoming a LaForge?
Sure. I've started to get a lot of like just walking down the street, I've started to get like I think we've met before. Mind you, I have an amazing memory. I am really good with faces and names. People I've never met before coming up like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh, never met. Hi, how are you? So I feel like that's been new. And then also I have had a couple instances where people like have commented on the show and have recognized you, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. Yeah.
Is there anything that happened between filming or afterwards, before now, that you would love people to know, that is like a funny story or just something like that, something that's happened?
Something that's happened. I think it's a mixture of like, I think I've been posting like some behind the scenes footage of like the Borg makeup. Like, I want people to know how much work and love went into this season, and the friendships that were built. But I think, yeah, fans can feel the love and see see our connections that we made. There were just so many good moments. I think I laughed so much on this set. Yeah, I mean, like you said, even during and after production.
Excellent. Who does Geordie love more, Sydney or Alandra?
Sydney, I'm kidding.
No takesies, backsies.
No, he loves them both equally. It's clear. Yeah. But I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to say Sydney.
Of course, yeah. And now I'm just going to welcome Mika into the chat. No.
Hey, girl, how are you?
Mika has left the chat. No. I'm going to come up to the end because I know you've been so generous with your time. Thank you so much. Do we know yet what is the next thing we can expect from your already very impressive career?
Sure. I mean, I'm in talks for some other projects that I can't discuss at this moment, but I'm crossing my fingers for an announcement for Star Trek Legacy. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the last week, we've got 2 Star Treks announced. So, hopefully, just Star Trek gods, if you're listening. Just before I finish, I have one final question for you, but just before I finish up, is when rabid fans like myself want to reach out and get in touch online, where is the best place to find you?
Sure. I have Instagram at Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut. And then I'm also on Twitter at Ashlei SC. And I just joined TikTok. So at Ashlei Sharpe Chestnut on TikTok.
Brilliant. Okay, that is fantastic. So, nice, easy question for you now. No thinking required whatsoever. Actually, what does Star Trek mean to you?
Oh, I think it means... I almost said everything, but I think that's cliche. I think it means so much. I think because of the history that I have with this, I mean, it's, again, tied to my mother. That was my introduction. And now I'm actually here with these people that I've grown up watching. I'm now among these legends and they're my peers, which is weird. It's been such a phenomenal experience. I just feel so grateful. Yeah.
Ashlei, speaking of grateful, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me this evening. Thank you for basically being deadly on Star Trek. It's been very much appreciated. We look forward to seeing more from Lieutenant LaForge in the future. Everyone who has been listening and watching, thank you so much. We will, of course, be back with another episode of The War Room. Live long and prosper, everyone. Thanks very much.